What's going on, guys? Welcome back to our channel. This is your boy Cike, back again with another video. Waiting to happen, waiting to play. So you've seen today's title. There are lots of things we have to discuss in this video. A lot of online conversations that I want us to, chook our own mouths more. So the comment section is there. You're free to leave your opinion in the comment section. So let's get straight into today's video. There's this conversation going on online. People are debating, talking about if your husband cheats, what will you do? A lot of people are saying, leave your husband, leave your marriage if your husband cheats. Nobody's talking about the female side of it. The blame is always on the men. When you talk about domestic violence, it's always channeled towards the men. So I want to bring a practical example here. Recently, Apostle Suleman celebrated his birthday, and his wife, Dr Lizzy Johnson Suleman, celebrated the man, organized a surprise birthday party for him. Despite all the allegations of sexual misconduct, despite all the allegations of cheating, despite all the scandals rocking Apostle Suleman's name in recent times, but his wife still stood by him. His wife organized this birthday party, a surprise birthday party, to celebrate her husband, to celebrate her man. So this now brought me to this point where I'm now imagining, these heavy allegations, whether true or false, but this woman still stood by her husband. She never left him. She has always been with him, supporting him, being the rock behind the husband. This trend online, this discussion that people are saying, if your husband cheats, leave your marriage. If your wife cheats, leave your marriage. What is your own opinion? If your husband cheats, what will you do? If your wife cheats, what will you do? Reno Omokri said, "Dear women, if your husband commits adultery, many women will ask you to leave him. Look at them very well. How many of them are really happy? Don't be deceived by stunning photos they post. They are uber miserable, and misery wants company." You don't need to flow with the public. You don't need to flow with public opinion. Do what suits you. Do what's on your mind. All right, so let's look at what Edochie said about cheating husbands and leaving your husband.
A lot of you run up your husband's houses. What the excuse? He was cheating on me. Solomon had, I think, 1,000 wives, 700 concubines. If you say that your husband is cheating on you and now decides to take many more wives, what are you going to do? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. If you think that your husband leaves the house, says it's going on tour, and he's going to have an affair outside, put a packet of condom into his bag. Tell him you have packed his bag for him. When he sees it, psychologically, he's going to think, this woman has my interest at heart. If it is his intention to stray, he will pull himself together. But because that you women are not even creative, no. You want to be like white women who keep marrying and divorcing and marrying. It doesn't suit us. It doesn't go down well with us. No.
So what will you do? If it happens to you, what will you do? If your wife or your husband cheats, what will you do? Leave your opinion in the comment section. Before you decide on if you're staying or not in your marriage, if your husband cheats or if your wife cheats. But this goes straight to the women. If your husband cheats, before you decide if you're staying or not, you have to caution your daughters. You have to speak to your daughters. You have to warn your daughters, because there are lots of nudity out there now. There are lots of inappropriate dressing out there that is confusing men. You guys remember when Etiko and her Nollywood colleagues visited Hajia Bintu? You saw the controversy her dressing caused, and now Hajia Bintu, they gym, did one bring out in chest, in one get his packs and other things, because Hajia Bintu is confused after seeing Etiko. The man got confused, and which man will not be confused after seeing a woman displaying all those, massive things before you? Guys, Etiko confused Hajia Bintu, and you can see him in the gym trying to impress the ladies out there, trying to flow with the trend. You understand what I'm trying to say? So now so this thing be. Before you talk about leaving your husband, have you thought about what is the cause of the problem? Let me show you a little of the confusion that men are facing out there. You can see Etiko. You can see Adam Maluk. You can see Luchi Daniels. You can see Nkechi Blessing. Look at Hajia Bintu. Everywhere you go, it's about bomb. Women are shaking their buttocks. It now looks like there is nothing more a woman can offer if not that big behind. It looks like there is nothing again a woman can be proud of if not her big backside. So these are the things that are causing problem in marriages. This is why you can see a side chick boldly confront a married woman and his wife while they are shopping. There is a competition about bombo. There is a competition about who in mama give pass. Now be the thing where they happen now. So these are the confusions that we are facing. So before you talk about leaving your marriage because your husband is cheating or he has cheated, caution your daughters, because your daughter, your own daughter, might make another woman's husband misbehave somewhere. So caution your daughters, teach them how to dress. They should stop dressing indecently. They should dress properly so that your husband will not look at another man's daughter out there. So moving on to the next one, divorce rate and separation rate in our African community is on the increase. It's increasing day by day. You know, it's now alarming because no one wants to take responsibility of what happened. It might be the man's fault, it might be the woman's fault, or both of them combined together, and that's why their marriage cannot last. So if you're married, you're planning to be married, your marriage is intact, your marriage has disintegrated, or your marriage is about to collapse, I want you to watch this video. I want you to learn something from this woman. I want you to understand that accepting your mistakes can save your marriage. Forgetting about mind game, forgetting about blaming somebody, forgetting about blaming your husband or blaming your wife for the problem you're facing in your marriage can be a huge step in the right direction to save your marriage. So watch this. I'll be right back.
The journey for this 14 years. Now my wife captured the journey in the book where she writes, say, I almost ruined my marriage. So the journey no easy.
Anger is a bad thing. Anger is a bad thing. It really affected us. It really affected us, if not for the kind of person that he is. He came from a place where he saw a lot of peace. Everything was just fine. I came from a background where, you know, fighting was normal. You know, it's not like it was normal, but I saw a lot of it, and I saw a lot of raising of voice, shouting. So that was such a challenge because it was draining him. It wasn't draining me, but it was draining him, and it was such a huge challenge because at some point he became so quiet. I knew then, you know, that early time in marriage, whenever, you know, he sees me, he just lights up, you know, and all of that. But you know, the more I kept doing this thing, the light left. There was no more light. It was just you're there, you're existing, okay, anything you want, you know, that kind of thing. So I think that's even when sense started coming back, when I just started discovering that I'm losing this man.
The turning point when she began to have a deep relationship with God.
So there is nothing wrong in someone accepting his or her mistake. From that video you saw, the woman accepted her fault, she understood her problem, worked on it, and today she's happy. They are enjoying themselves. Little thing can save your marriage. Little thing can save your marriage from collapsing. That small thing, just to say, I'm sorry, accepting your mistake.
And also, when you live a very prayerful life, you get some things where fire go generate, where Cike no go penetrate. I don't date my house before, woman naked for my house when my wife go London. At that point in time, now only God that stays in heaven with. And the worst thing will happen that now that time I did work for World Bank project on HIV and AIDS. I get condoms where my driver don't, they sell condom at the time. So I don't tell my driver, I say, please make sure that all the condom, I was angry with him, I say, offload all the condoms in the house because they are not supposed to be sold. And so he offloaded the condoms and lubricant. So you can imagine where somebody don't naked, you look left, see condom and lubricant, which they hold you now. But I know say, waiting God go use me during the future. Big pass the pleasure where I won't get now. I'm not gonna lie, say there was no reaction. Do you understand? But I run. I live. I no one think. I no one meditate because that's where the problem is. The problem is not in what you saw. The problem is in what you were meditating.
Taking responsibility of your actions can save your marriage. There is no point pointing, accusing fingers. He's the fault. It's because of him. Side chick, you know, boyfriend, this and that. That female, that male. Forget about all those things. Take responsibility of your actions. Say, I am sorry. Try as much as you can to figure out what that problem is in your marriage, and it will make a huge difference. All right. So another thing that we've been discussing for a long time and people are crying and clamoring and trying to find solution to is the issue of tithing in our churches today. Issue of tithing in Christian congregation, Christian community. And this pastor Abel Damina, has done justice to it. You know, there are lots of publications out there, there are lots of controversies, commotions, people are talking about it. Even our own dear Daddy Freeze has been talking about all these things. So I want you guys to listen to Pastor Abel Damina. He spoke at length broke everything down about tithing in the churches. So listen to him.
Now, look at me, everybody. Are you with me on the same page? Without much ado, the tithe was always from food. That before we get into reading, you see the way I'm going in, no scripture will escape me. So before we even start the journey, let me submit to you. The tithe was always from food, not money. Every reference I gave you, the tithe was always from food. Tithe was never money. Tithe in the law was always food. So let's read. Under the law, Leviticus 27:30. Quickly, I need you, brother, on the computer to be in the spirit. Watch. And all the tithes of the land, whether of the seed of the land or of the fruit of the land, is the Lord. It is holy unto the Lord. So tithe will be from grain and from fruits. From grain and from fruits. Numbers 18:27. And this your heave offering shall be reckoned unto you as though it were the corn of the threshing floor, corn, and as the fullness of the wine press. 28. Thus you shall offer an heave offering unto the Lord of all your tithes, which you receive of the children of Israel, and you shall give thereof the Lord's heave offering to Aaron the priest. So fullness of the winepress, corn, grain. Deuteronomy 12:17-18. Thou mayest not eat within thy gates the tithe of thy corn, or of thy wine, or of thine oil, or the firstlings of thy herds, or of thy animal flock, nor any of thy vows which thou vowest, nor thy free will offerings or heave offering of thine hand. 18. But thou must eat them before the Lord thy God, in the place which the Lord thy God shall choose, thou and thy son, and thy daughter, and thy manservant, and thy maidservant, and the Levite that is within thy gates. And thou shalt rejoice before the Lord thy God in all that thou puttest thy hands unto. Deuteronomy 14:22. Thou shalt truly tithe all the increase of thy seed, grain, that the field bringeth forth, year by year. 23. And thou shalt eat before the Lord thy God, in the place which he shall choose to place his name there, the tithe of thy corn, of thy wine, of thine oil, corn, wine, oil, and the firstlings of thy herds and of thy flock, that thou mayest learn to fear the Lord thy God. So, what do you tithe from? Grain, new wine, oil. Deuteronomy 26:12. When thou hast made an end of tithing all the tithes of thine increase in the 3rd year, which is the year of tithing, and hast given it unto the Levite, the stranger, the fatherless, and the widow, that they may eat within thy gates and be filled. Listen carefully. Look at me, everybody. If a pastor knows that you read your Bible diligently, he will be careful in what he says. Christians are very lazy. That's why pastors who don't want to be straightforward are getting away with things that are not scriptural. Pay attention. So don't be lazy. Read your Bible. 2 Chronicles 31:5. And as soon as the commandment came abroad, the children of Israel brought in abundance the first fruit of what? Corn, wine, and oil, and honey, and of all the increase of the field, and the tithe of all things brought they in abundantly. Honey, grain, wine, oil, all produce of field, even oxen and sheep. Nehemiah chapter 10:37. And that we should bring the first fruit of our dough and our offerings, and the fruit of all manner of trees, of wine, and of oil unto the priest, to the chambers of the house of our God, and the tithes of our ground unto the Levites, that the same Levites might have the tithes in all the cities of our tillage. Are you there? 38. And the priest, the son of Aaron, shall be with the Levites. When the Levites take tithes, and the Levites shall bring up the tithe of the tithes unto the house of our God, to the chambers, into the treasure house. Nehemiah 13 verse 5. And he had prepared for him a great chamber, where aforetime they laid the meat offering, the frankincense, and the vessels, and the tithes of the corn, the new wine, and the oil, which was commanded to be given to the Levites, and the singers, and the porters, and the offerings of the priest. Malachi chapter 3 verse 10. Malachi chapter 3 verse 10. Bring ye all, underline all, because I will do some work there. Bring ye all the tithes into the storehouse. Into where? The storehouse. That there may be what? Meat. Meat means food. That there may be food, because tithe is food in my house. And prove me now here with saith the Lord of hosts, if I will not open you the windows of heaven and pour you out a blessing, that there shall be no room enough to receive it. Meat means food. So again, food. Are we clear? If we're clear, say I hear you. Anybody that sees this and says otherwise is very dishonest. Pay attention. That's why I'm painstakingly reading with you. What about Jesus? What did Jesus say was tithe? Matthew 23. Matthew 23. That's the second column. I mean the third column, which is 4 Gospels. Woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, for you pay tithe of mint, underline mint, and anise, underline anise, and cumin, underline cumin. Those are the things you pay tithe. And this is Jesus talking to those people. What is mint? The word mint there is the Greek word hipposon. H-E-P-E-U-O-S-O-U-O. It means peppermint that is used to cook. Peppermint, okay, that is used to cook. Herbs. Okay, so Jesus said the tithe will come from herbs. Number 2, anise. Anise is herbs. Okay. Number 3, cumin is a Greek word, kuminon. K-U-M-I-N-O-N. Spice, food like curry. So you tithe from curry and from herbs. This is Jesus, who is God, talking. If you are with me, say I hear you. So you discover the Old Testament and the 4 Gospels agree that tithe is from food. Why will it be the same? Because Jesus called it a matter of the law. So that's why we read from Exodus down to the Gospel. All of them agree that this is law, food. So it cannot be different. That means the tithe in the law and the tithe in the 4 Gospels refers to what? Food.
Make sure if you have not subscribed to the channel, please subscribe to the channel. Share our videos with your friends and families. Turn on the bell notification. What do you think about the whole thing we've discussed today in this video? And leave your own comment in the comment section. I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.